Hello and welcome to yet another garage video. This episode is going to be a big one. Not in the grand scheme of things, but for me personally, because it's going to finalize this area of the car for me, and I'll be able to step away from all of this mess, which has been a long time coming. It's time to put the sill on. This boy needs to go in here. It needs to go in here, be welded in, and I need to forget about it and move on to the next part of the car. This presents us with a load of new challenges. In the last episode you would have seen me prepare the inner sill, clean it up, rust treat it, paint it, all the repairs have been done. And the next step for me is to get the sill prepared. When I cut the original sill, I'm not really entirely sure what I was doing, but I made a few mistakes and basically cut way too much metal away. And now I have all of these massive gaps that I need to build up with extra material. So this is problem number one. Underneath here, the sill comes with a slit here that I need to finalize the fitment of it to the car and weld that up. We also have a pretty big gap here. I might be able to just weld that. I'll be able to build the material up with weld here, across here, and just a little bit here. The biggest problem is this area here, because not only do I have a massive gap, so I need to add some material in. I also, as you can see, I have warped, even though I tried not to. When I welded up the holes here, this part ended up warping, and so not only do I have a huge gap, it's also against a warped panel. Yeah, I'm just gonna start, as usual, I'm just gonna start tinkering, try play with some stuff, see how things behave. I need to add extra material to those areas. Yeah, I think I'm just going to start with that. So that's welded up, and that's what we have. Along the back side of the sill, everything is nice and flat and lines up good, but I think I'm gonna have to do like a little relief cut here or something when I'm welding it, because yeah, I just can't seem to get rid of this little extra material that's just, I thought I'd be able to massage it in, but it's just, yeah, it's gonna have to be addressed when it's being welded. Anyway, so that end is kind of good to go. This end is kind of good to go. I've still got a few little things to do, but overall that is looking very, very nice. So that's 2 things down, 3 things left. One thing being this, I need to sort that out, finish the fitment on that, weld that up. Then I need to, at the back, I need to add extra material here to finish off the sill, so it's a complete piece here. And the third thing, which I'm gonna think about, is this. I don't like this. Original car is a smooth panel. It doesn't have this weird little, I don't even know what to call it. Original car doesn't have it, and it's just weird, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna try and cut it and weld it up. Cut it, hammer it, weld it up, and so yeah. 3 more things to do before the sill can get prepared for welding. Whew. So far so good. So far so good. Lots of time has passed from the last clip that you just saw, but so much work has been done behind the scenes. Little finicky bits of paint, rust treatment, prep work, all kinds of adjustments done to the sill and the car. Today is the day, the monumental day, for me at least, where the sill is going on. Let me walk you through some of the things that have been going on. So many little things that I just kept coming across as I was doing prep work. I would think and be like, oh, okay, that needs to be done. Oh, that needs to be done. Oh, that needs to be done. And I'm now at a point where I think the sill is ready to go on. Let me just show you some stuff. The sill itself has been prepped for welding. What I have done is I stripped it all down to bare metal. I epoxy primered this middle section of the sill, taped off the edges before I epoxy primered it, and then weld through primered the edges. As you can see, there's a clear separation between the weld through primer and the epoxy primer. So one of my biggest concerns is the heat from the welder just melting all my epoxy. As we know, the way the sill came as a repair panel, it was not ready to be welded on. Added extra piece here, added extra piece here. Had to finalize the fitment of all of this because all of this was opened up. Weld up the weird indentation there, add extra piece of metal there, add extra metal here, finalize the shape of all of this. And one of the crazy things is there is 78 plug welds that I'm gonna have to do on this thing. I should get really good at plug welding after doing this. Obviously the other side of the sill was just left raw, whatever, however it is, because that's gonna be part of the external thing. I did exactly the same thing on the car. I have stripped all of these areas that I have repaired, including all of this internal stuff, back to bare metal. And again, I epoxy primered everything and left the edges bare. As you can see here, there's a clear separation between where the epoxy primer is and where the weld through primer is. Anything that's weld through primer, this was bare metal with just a layer of weld through. And all the middle sections where there is going to be less heat and no welding, that's where all my epoxy is. Same thing here and same thing here. Everything was stripped back, and again, all the edges were separately painted. All the areas that are away from any heat are in epoxy primer. This has been tons and tons of work. The weird stuff that I kept coming across, like I keep saying, is, for example, all of this. All of these vents, well, I didn't even realize how rusty they were. All the edges, all the internal edges of all these vents, everything was rusty. Whilst I had the access to this area, I had to sand everything down and rust treat everything and epoxy primer it from the inside, from the outside, trying to get into these areas with just tiny little bits of sandpaper and just cleaning it all up, getting the rust treatment, and then painting it from the other side. That was just a madness. I drilled that little hole there to reroute the sunroof drain, which is this tube here. Originally goes into the sill, and that's why the sills rust out. A little grommet goes into that hole, and it's just gonna go through the outside and come out of the bottom of the car. Underneath, you would never ever see it, super tucked away. I think that's just a nice clean solution to that problem. I had a big boo-boo. There was 2 holes for the plastic trims that go on the side. I welded them up, but what I did in the process of welding it, I warped the crap out of this section of the quarter panel. That's why you see all these, I've got all these relief cuts here to try and like to give it flex, to pull it back out. I know it doesn't look like much, things are just kind of grey and there's not a lot to see, but the amount of work that's gone into the preparation of all of this and all of this has just been absolutely huge. Before I line up the sill for the final time, I'm going to very lightly scuff all of these areas. Everything that's painted, give it a light scuff and a very good clean. Everything is going to be super clean in preparation for painting it. Once everything is closed in, I obviously have all these holes where I'm gonna stick in all types of different paint nozzles and all kinds of different types of paint, but I need all of these surfaces to be very lightly scuffed and clean, so then all of the paint that I put on has a really good surface area to stick to. I'm sure I'm going to encounter weird problems and issues, and I'm sure there is stuff that I'm forgetting, but I could go on about this for another 5 hours, the amount of stuff that I've been doing here, but I'm just trying to do my absolute best to think about as many possible things that might be an issue now or later, to just cover myself from, just do the absolute best possible job, because that's just the best I can do. The best I can do is the best I can do, and then that's it. There's just as simple as that. Right, bare metal all of my edges where I'm going to weld, inside and out, so then the welds are as clean as possible for them to just be painted. Or if something needs a little light wire wheeling on the inside or wire brushing, I can just do it lightly and then put paint on it. This has been such a long time coming. I'm super nervous, but I'm just gonna get stuck in and get it done. Yeah, let's go. I have to interrupt this time lapse because the battery is about to die, because so far I've spent 2 hours on just doing what you've just seen. I am nowhere near anything. I'm jumping around the place just to keep heat to a minimum. I'm literally doing like a couple of bits here, a couple of bits there, but it's lining up really nicely. You know, got my little tacks looking pretty good. Some of the plug welds, see there's a little bit of burn on the top, so when that happens I have to sort of fill it in from the top, but being careful, controlling the heat. There is some plug welds underneath that have come out absolutely perfectly. These boys here are all looking lovely and great, really good. This really weird thing happened. One of them just sort of exploded. I don't know what happened there, that was weird. But yeah, I'm still trying to get the settings for the plug welds dialed in, but I'm kind of getting there. I had to drill one of the plug welds out, and oh my god, these plug welds are so strong. It's unbelievable. They're like, literally, even just trying to grind it off, drill it out, it was like, they are solid, and there is so many of them, and so I'm so confident in the strength of all of this. This ridiculous mess, I should have filmed how badly it was warped, but I was just kind of like having a panic attack about what I was gonna do. But yeah, it's not too bad. It's straightening out. It's still gonna take a lot of body work to get perfect, but for now that's pretty good. Little plug welds here and there, look, nice little bores. I'm gonna stick the phone in charge, do a lot more of this, and then pick up the camera when I have something else to say. Cool. So, all the plug welds are done. I'm not finished on the welding yet. All of this still needs butt welding and all along here, all of that goodness. But all the plug welds are done. I'm gonna come back first thing in the morning and continue. I've got a bunch of stuff to say, but I'm just like exhausted and like just overwhelmed by everything that I've been doing. But it's looking really good. It's looking really good. I'm really happy with everything so far. It's strong as all hell. Welds are coming out pretty decent. I've got some few little issues here and there, but nothing I can't fix. And yeah, I'll pick the camera up in the morning. Alright, be ready. I don't know who I lied to. Early in the morning, blah blah blah. I ain't getting up if I ain't got work. Jesus, it's like 12 o'clock. Whatever, it's fine. We shall continue with the welding and we'll get it done. Nothing to it but to do it. What an absolutely massive job that was. So much welding. We have some real big issues. Mostly, it's all good. Welding is welded, and this is where our issues begin. I've tried to correct the warpage that I was having, and everything I was doing just made it worse and worse and worse and worse. It doesn't look too crazy when you first glance at it, but let me just bring you into this angle here, and here you can sort of see how messed up this whole area is. This is supposed to be a straight line. From this point to this point, there is a body line, like a little crease, and it's supposed to be a straight line, and look at that. That is mental. It's a little bit better as we go up, but yeah, the warpage is spread all the way up to here. It's really hard to show on camera, but this is real bad. I've sort of accepted before I even started that I was going to have issues with this. It's such thin metal, it's a big wide surface area, but I didn't quite realise how bad it was going to get. I don't even know what I'm going to do, but we'll work something out. This has worked out real nice. Everything's super solid and just lovely. And again, all the plug welds are sweet as. This lower section of the quarter panel is warped to absolute. I really don't know. I just really don't know what we're gonna do with it. It's okay though. We'll come up with something. We'll get it sorted. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have a little porridge break. Get some energy in my brain. I'm gonna give everything a rough grind just to clean everything up, basically, just so I can see exactly what's going on. We're doing okay overall. It's all good apart from that back section. That's just fuck. Ate my porridge. And I really have no idea what I'm going to do with all that warpage. Porridge warpage.